Hello BookTube. Welcome to my 2026 reading project announcement video. So the other day I was looking over the contract of being a young man on the internet, and in the fine print it was clearly stipulated that you have to be interested in an ancient civilization, be it the ancient Greeks, the ancient Romans, the ancient Indians, or some other ancient civilization. And then I saw Steve Donahue made a video on in an ancient Greece starter kit, and so here I am. So I will link Steve's video down below, but I won't be going in that much detail on what the books are. I'll just give a brief outline of the starter kit and how I'm going to be interacting with it. So obviously the ancient Greeks, you have to start with the epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey. But Steve tells us that the Greeks did not go into these stories blind. They already knew the stories beforehand, and they went to the narrator or poet to see how well it was dramatized. So I'll give you a history of my history with Greek mythology. So I have read quite a few books on Greek mythology, in particular this Stephen Fry's Mythos and Heroes, and also his Troy, but I've not yet read his Odyssey. And I've also read my college library. It had the Electra and other plays by Euripides, the Penguin Blackspine, and also it had the Sophocles. I'm forgetting the name, but I'll put the book here. And I've also read Antigone and Oedipus Rex, and I've also read the Penguin Ovid Metamorphoses. So I do have some idea of the myths and what all goes on. But for a prerequisite, Steve mentioned Edith Hamilton's Mythology. So I've got that with me, and I plan to read it soon. For the epics, obviously, the Iliad and the Odyssey. So I was originally planning to read this. This is Samuel Butler's translation in this very fascinating, fantastic cover with the black and gold hardcover and the gold plated pages. But what makes this particular book very interesting is that it is not like any other book in the world, because it has a special decorative mark, one of a kind. One of my dogs, I don't know, thought it was a chew toy and made his mark here. So this is the Butler translation that I will be reading, but in my college library I found the Hammond translation, and since Steve and Mike at Riffraffs are going to be doing a Iliad read along in parts, I thought I should do an initial reading. So I'm at book 6. Hector is going into war to kill some more people. So yeah, so I'm a bit way through the Iliad, and then I would go back through the order in which Steve has created the starter kit. So after the epics comes the bane of my existence, which is history. And I say that in a tongue-in-cheek manner because during my schooling years, history was a subject that I was not particularly interested in. Steve says to start with ancient history, that is Herodotus and Thucydides. I am looking forward to this because I don't know if this is embarrassing to admit, but again, I have never read a history book, so it would be interesting. I'll be going in with an open mind. Hopefully, Herodotus can change my mind. And after these works of ancient history, he mentions works of modern history covering the same topics. So he mentions Donald Kagan and Peter Green. So that is the history section of the starter kit. After this comes the section that I'm most interested for, because sure, the epics might be epics, but the dramas are dramatic. I don't know where I was going. Okay, so he starts with the Orestia by Aeschylus, which is, I think, Agamemnon coming back from the war with Cassandra, the lady who speaks truth but nobody listens to her. And then after that is Sophocles, the Theban plays, Antigone, Oedipus Rex, and Colonus. In fact, I had read Antigone and Oedipus Rex, and I was halfway through Oedipus at Colonus, but couldn't get through that from my college library copy. After that, he mentions Euripides, and he does not particularly say which plays. So going on the theme of three plays from each dramatist, I'll be reading the Bacche and rereading Medea and Hippolytus. For Aristophanes, again, he mentions Lysistrata by name and just says read the 4 or 5 plays that come with the book. So for me, I'll just be going with Lysistrata, Clouds, and the Frogs. Of the three, I am very interested to read the Orestia, particularly because I have read Sophocles' Theban cycle. But if it weren't the case, I would be more interested to read Sophocles. And after that, he goes on to say that we should cover broader history. He mentions Hemlock Cup by Bethany Hughes and A History of Greece by J.B. Bury. He also mentions a Penguin book, which is like a cartography book that talks about the trading routes and naval routes and all that. I am dropping that because it seems interesting, but it seems something that I would not want to devote my time to. After that comes the bane of Steve's existence, which is philosophy. He tells to read Essential Plato and the Modern Library Aristotle. I counted the pages of both the books and they add up to 2,500 pages. Yeah, I'm also not looking forward to philosophy. I hope that it is more of I don't know if it's right to say literary criticism, but basically, from what I know, it's like 5-6 people just talking about different ideas. I'm hoping it is of the kind where they are talking about the epic, whether the XYZ event happened, what was the right thing, I don't know, was it right for Achilles to go away at the beginning of the Iliad, or something related to the story of the epics rather than just random abstract conversations. But I'm not looking forward to philosophy, but if it's of the kind that I mentioned, I'll be very happy if that is. And then at the end, he talks about modern fiction. He says to read Stephen Cressfield's Grate of Fire and Mary Renault's Last of Wine. Again, the historical fiction, I'm super excited for that, but it's the big books of philosophy that sort of terrify me. So how will I be attempting to going forward with the starter kit? So I've already started my Iliad reading, after which I'll go to Hamilton's Mythology, and I don't know if I'll want to reread Iliad in Butler's prose. Maybe I'll just go for the Odyssey. Then I'm definitely going to hit the ancient history and modern history and the dramas, and I want to end the year with the dramas. So I think in 2026 I want to go all the way till Aristophanes and read through all of that. If in case I sort of complete it earlier than I expect, I would be reading the broader histories, but again I have put a conditional on the broader histories because I'll be willing to try the 4 books of history that Steve mentions at the beginning, but again the broader histories like the Hemlock Cup and the History of Greece, again I don't know if I'll be having fun reading them. If I have fun reading the earlier history books, I'll definitely go through them. Philosophy is something I'm not looking forward to, so again, if I can find the books or the places where the discussion on the story elements of the epics are made, I'll definitely read those. If not, I might see like what the important books of Plato and Aristotle are, to read them. And I'll definitely be reading the historical novels set in ancient Greece. So that is the plan for 2026, to my reading project, to go through ancient Greece, see all that there is to see, learn all that there is to learn, although thus far into the Iliad all that I have been seeing is death and destruction, and it's rather depressing to read this. I feel like it's going to get more depressing, but I'm somehow making it through. Alright, booktube, that was all. Wish me luck. Goodbye.